Hey guys, this is Amixul with part 2 of the building tutorial. Today we'll be discussing the basics of building for PvP. Ultimately, everything I'm going to go over in this video is beatable. The only way to avoid being raided is to just not be found. This means your best bet is to stay away from thrall camps and anything valuable, but the chances are you'll be found anyway, and you will be raided. So, your best bet is to just not build on the ground, and preferably build inside of one of the ancient ruins scattered about. Doing so will generally force players to use one entrance, and make your base's defense considerably less costly. Anyway, let's get this started. So, one of the most important things you will learn is that doors are your absolute best friend in the world. Each door at T3 will cost the player a minimum of 6 bombs. However, one of the most important things to remember is that if it's cheaper to go through a wall, people will go through that wall as it only costs them 8 bombs. Make sure you build your defenses with this in mind. It should also be noted you can cheaply increase the defense of your roof by placing foundations on it. One of the most important concepts you'll discover is honeycombing. Honeycombing is an effective defense because with any luck it'll force people into using your doors. At this point in time, I know of 4 effective ways to do this. Number 1, a foundation, 4 walls, and a ceiling. It's cheap, but unfortunately it's a little easy to tear through. A foundation, 4 walls, and a foundation placed on it. This is the second most expensive way to honeycomb, and very much more if you're raided, as a foundation stacked on a foundation will always fall. A foundation, 4 walls, 1 pillar, and a ceiling tile. This is the third most expensive way to honeycomb. It's great against trap attacks, however, it does suffer against bombs. And finally, 12 fence foundations, 6 for the base, 6 for the wall, 4 pillars, and a ceiling tile. It should be noted that this building method is extremely expensive, and to be effective must be built at least 3 to 4 stories high. In addition to its expense, it's also particularly annoying to work with, as it must be built in a particular order, or it cannot and will not come out right. But ultimately, it is the strongest defense in the game, and as an added benefit, as of this point in time, you cannot place bombs on the ceilings if they're made this way. Go ahead and show that. Well, not there, but over here. At this point in time, I want to go over one of the biggest don'ts in the Conan building. Do not stack foundations as walls. As mentioned earlier, the flaw in this is that if you break one at the bottom, they all fall down. Basically, this means for a scant 12 bombs, the enemy has full access to every level of your base. It should also be mentioned that you need to make sure your walls are supported with a ceiling. If they are not, then every level above the one broken will fall. Finally, I want to talk to you about bubbles. Bubbles can be acquired by capturing an archpriest and gathering 500 manifestations of zeal. What a bubble does offer is total protection against projectile weapons and gods. In a sense, it is possible to become completely raid-proof at certain locations on the map. Most of these locations being at the top of pillars in the desert area. Alrighty guys, I hope you found this tutorial informative. I am sure there is a lot I missed, and I will likely go over it in the future. If you enjoyed the video, please do slap the sub button. Anyway, I'll see you guys again for part 3 of my building tutorial, which will cover PvE design basics.